Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amber, and I have decided to change up what my plan was video making wise. So I'm gonna call it book diaries, as what I'm gonna be doing is at the end of each day, kind of update you what I'm reading, what I'm thinking about the book, and at the end of the week slash video, you'll get to see what the results of that is, and review wise maybe, or it'll be like throughout the week. If I finish a book, then that review will come right then and there. It all depends on how I want to work this. I haven't fully fleshed it out, but we're gonna just go with it. And I really do not want to edit my videos, so again, I'll apologize if I am stuttering and mixing up words a little bit too much for your taste, but it was the only way to get myself to actually get these videos out is by not editing. So what I actually will do for sure is I'm going to be splitting up the week so that you'll get one part of the week on Wednesdays, and then on Saturdays or Sundays, depending on what I decide, you'll get the rest of the week. So that's how I'll be doing it that way. But let's actually just get into today. Today is Sunday, April 28th. It's the last Sunday of the month, and I was, like I said in that Saturday's video, I was reading the Anne's House of Dreams by Ella Montgomery, which was the 5th book in the Anne of Green Gables series, and I finished that Saturday, so I decided to start Anne of Ingleside today. And I knew my thoughts on the last 3 books. I don't really like them because they start to lean towards the children instead of Anne. And of course, I love the books for Anne. That's who I pick up these books for. And so I knew I wasn't going to enjoy it, but when I finished Anne's House of Dreams, I really wanted to continue on. So I picked it up. I got halfway through and lost complete interest. I was so done with it. And I'm kind of not regretting that at all. I also read 22 pages of John Adams by David McCullough. So, I think I mentioned this, but I had already read like 100 pages of this before I had taken a break. And I thought, oh, since I took that break, I probably won't remember all this stuff. I really should go back and reread that section. But apparently I do have a better memory than I thought, because a lot of the things that I'm reading right now are things that I clearly remember. But I don't regret doing that because I can make sure that I'm getting the things I want to remember highlighted so I can go back to those parts. That's something that is very important to me. So that's fine. I don't really have much to say about that. But I realized that my plan of making Harry Potter my focal read is going to not work so much right now, because I have books on hold, and so I'll be borrowing some books from the library soon. I will be having them, and I need to focus on them mostly. So I will be continuing on, but I will be reading a chapter a day of that. And I did start Prisoner of Azkaban today. I was thinking that I would like binge read it today as much as I could, but the weather was making me really anxious. Like, the weather is changing. It was like nice and warm, and then it got really cold and breezy, and that weather change kind of gets me antsy sometimes. So although I love the book, I just wasn't really in the reading mood at this point. So tomorrow I will be reading my chapter. I should be getting some of the books that I have requested tomorrow, so I will be starting those books then, and you'll get to see what they are then. But that is all I have for Sunday, so I will see you in the next one. Hi, today is Monday the 30th, and we're back for an update. So yesterday and in the clip before this, I said that I was going to be reading from my main read the library book, and I changed my mind, which is typical of me. But this morning I got so desperate with how I just felt like I was never getting done with all of my reading, and I just really wanted to focus on my TBR, and so I cut down even more of the books that I have. So I think I have 10 books left, not including the one I'm reading right now, that are just fiction books that I'm going to be focusing on. I have maybe around the same amount of nonfiction, but I'm going to be reading those in the same fashion as I'm reading John Adams. So those are going to be alongside everything else. I'm not counting them in like my TBR, if that makes sense. So once I finish those books, I can focus on reading Kindle from the Kindle and library. Now, most of the books that I have on my shelves are first books in a series. So what I will be doing is that once I finish The Killer Angels, which is the last book that is in a series on my shelves, then I can go back to reading from the library. So one of the 5 books one of the 5 books that I choose, so I'll only technically be borrowing 4 books. Well, so kind of like I'm trying to say is that I will read one of the books on here that is a series and then borrow 5 books, one being the second book in that series, if that makes sense. So one of the 5 will always be the next book in that series until I finish that series, and I will continue on with the next book. So that's kind of like the way that I'm going to be doing it. So I guess even the series ones, I'm not really counting because of that. But anyways, so today, because I chose to change my mind about the library books for now, I will be reading, or I am reading, The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, and this is the creation story of Middle-earth, basically. And this was his first and last novel, or book, fantasy novel, epic fantasy, whatever. Sorry, I just lost my mind there. But anyways, he worked on this throughout his whole life. He never actually got it published while he was alive. 4 years after his death, it was finally published. And his son actually edited the book posthumously, if that's the right way of saying that. And so I'm 24 pages in. It has a lot of parallels to the Bible's creation story, and I don't mind. I'm really enjoying this. I think that since I actually read Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, that helped me to enjoy this. I don't think that I would be enjoying this as much if I hadn't already read those books. So if you're looking for a place to start, I'm not sure this is the place to start, because I think all of his books really surround Middle-earth, so maybe it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't know what other people say, but Lord of the Rings is such a hard book in itself to get into, but that is more story-oriented, of course, whereas this doesn't really read like an actual story per se. It kind of reads like a history book in a way, like you're reading the history, so in that way, I don't know if this would be all that great, but I think that somebody who's already a Tolkien fan would definitely like this, as I am enjoying it so far. I can't reach the other 2 books right now, so I read my chapter of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling, which is the 3rd book, and the chapter that I read was the one where Aunt Marge blows up, basically, and I love that chapter so much. And in the next chapter you find out like what happens, and I just, even though you don't see it happening, of course, I just can't help but imagining it happening, and it's just so hilarious. So anyways, one of my favorite chapters, and for some reason with this reread, I am a little bit more anxious about what's going to be happening later on, specifically with Ron and Hermione, and I just am not looking forward to that aspect of the story, which is kind of why I stopped listening to them on audiobook, because of that. But anyways, it's going to happen one way or the other. I love all the other aspects of this book other than that. I will say this is not my favorite of the 7. I actually think that the 7th book, other than the epilogue, is my favorite book for some reason. Like, I know most people don't really like that one, but I do. So there we go. I'm the unpopular one there. The 3rd book I have to update you on is John Adams. I read my 22 pages, but I actually skimmed the rest of the parts that I had already read before and just highlighted the important parts that I wanted to remember, and then read the 22 pages of where I had left off, if that makes sense. So there's that. I think I already talked already about what I had thought of this book so far, and that opinion stays the same. I think that he's a little bit biased when it comes to John Adams. He romanticizes him a little bit. I don't really feel like I'm getting to know all sides of him in this one. Maybe I was just spoiled by Ron Chernow, who goes in so much detail about the people that he is writing about. He goes to all the corners of the person, whereas Damon Colleague isn't really doing that, and I don't think that's really his purpose in this. He's really just focusing on Adam's participation in the Revolutionary War and in the creation of the government and his part that he played in that. I don't think it was fully about him as a, he has that in there, but I don't think this is like a full out biography in the way that I was expecting it to be. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this. Also, I read ahead a bit before and I don't think that he's gonna go into details about the one thing I really wanted, so we'll see if that happens. But yeah, that's all I really have to say for today. I don't know if I'll be reading tomorrow because we're going out of town for my mom's surgery, and I don't know if I will have the energy to actually read, but hopefully I do read because I would really like to keep up with my reading. And we don't even know when we're going to be leaving yet, so I'm really worried that we're going to have to leave like 3 in the morning. And I'm going to die because I'm the one that has to drive. So anyways, I will see you either in the next clip of being Wednesday, or Tuesday, I should say, or Wednesday. Most likely it'll be Wednesday because I don't see myself having read anything, but I'm crossing my fingers. I'm reading all the books that I have and hoping that I do read. So, see you then. Hi, so this is Tuesday, and for some reason all day I kept thinking this was Wednesday and then tomorrow was Thursday, and I have no clue as to why that was, other than that I was just hoping to be done with this whole week. So the surgery happened today. It all went really well and everything, but I don't know if I mentioned this, it was out of town and she ended up having to stay overnight, but she should be going home tomorrow. She is doing really good, and I was really annoyed with the whole system that they were doing because they told us it was going to be 2 hours and then it went over an hour, and in that time they didn't tell us like what was going on. So when I realized like I was paying attention, but I was like, should I call them to like get an update? Like I was a little bit nervous about doing that. Finally, when I got to the 3rd hour, I was like, okay, I'm calling. And as soon as I did that, she was just in recovery. But it's just like, if it's going longer than they tell you, they should automatically update you to make sure, especially because families freak out when it goes longer than they said it was going to. So I'm a little bit annoyed with that, but thankfully everything went fine. But we were here for a reading update. Surprisingly enough, I did read. I read my chapter of Harry Potter when he officially meets the Minister of Magic, and then I did read a part of what I was supposed to have read for John Adams, but I was a little bit distracted with that, so I'm just going to add the rest of what I was supposed to have read today with tomorrow's reading. And I don't know how much I'm going to get done reading wise tomorrow either, because we're going, like I said, to go get her. Then I did read some more of the Silmarillion. I don't think I really read all that much, maybe just like a chapter and a half of that. I swear that I've read this part of the book, even though I'm pretty sure I didn't get this far. It's so strange how it feels familiar to me, but I don't really like recognize. Anyways, but I really it's really interesting to kind of see, not just kind of, but to really see the start of the world. And even hearing about Sauron, it's so interesting to see like the actual start of this world, and kind of like, I don't know if we're gonna actually see how Sauron became, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing that happen, if that's so. But otherwise, it's just really enjoyable, and hopefully tomorrow I'll get some more reading done, because Thursday I should be able to, because that'll be a normal day. But Friday, the schedule is what I think it's gonna be, I won't read at all. So I'm just hoping that things kind of work out for me to at least Thursday. But I would love to be able to read some tomorrow too. That's basically all it is. I had to wake up at 3 o'clock this morning because we had to be there at 5, and it takes like an hour to get there, and I had to get ready. So I am like super tired and ready for bed, and so is my needle. So I will see you in tomorrow's clip. Hi, hello, welcome back to Wednesday, the 2nd of May, and hello, noodle. And I think I mentioned this, that I didn't know if I was going to read much today or yesterday. I'm not really sure what my update was, but all I know is that I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to be reading, if I was going to be reading at all, and clearly I didn't read as much, but I read more than I thought I was going to. I actually really didn't think I was going to get to anything but maybe Prisoner of Azkaban, but I did read some of other things of the Silmarillion. I did not get to John Adams, which I'm actually really disappointed in, because I really wanted to keep up with this, but starting tomorrow we should get back into a regular routine of that. So we went to pick up my mom from the hospital, because I think I said she had to end up staying overnight. She's doing good. A little bit nervous about what this whole 6 weeks is going to be like, but it's worth it for what the results will be. But I really thought that we'd be out around like 11, because that's what the doctor said. But instead we got out at 2, so I should have like brought like my whole backpack of water and all my supplies, and I didn't, because I didn't really think that I was gonna need it. And so that's probably why I didn't really do much reading, because I just didn't have energy. But I did read my chapter of Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban, and this is when we meet Crookshanks. And as I mentioned, I was anxious about the whole argument and being on the outs that Ron and Hermione have in this book, and it's still there, still playing havoc with me. But I do like this book. It's one of my favorites. It's not like in my top favorites, but I love all the Harry Potter, and other than what's going on with Hermione and Ron, I do enjoy this book. It's kind of the turning point in the series, I think, for starting when it comes to like themes of how dark it gets theme-wise. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to dealing with Hermione and Ron getting it at each other all the time, and then Harry kind of being upset with Hermione about the broomstick and all that stuff. So just not looking forward to that, but I'm looking forward to the rest. As I said, I didn't get to John Adams, which, you know, it is what it is, even though I'm disappointed. But I did read some of the Silmarillion. I'm really enjoying this more than I thought I would. I am really liking seeing this whole creationist story playing out and how Middle Earth came to be. We've already seen how the dwarfs came into creation. We are talking about the elves right now, so looking forward to all that. And so I'm done, and I will see you tomorrow because I have a call. Bye. Hi, hello, welcome back to Thursday, May 3rd, I believe it is. And I am super hot right now because I just walked to the dogs. But anyways, today was long and exhausting. I ended up not really being home most of the day, it felt like. But I actually did read some from all of the books that I'm currently reading at the moment. I read my one chapter of Prisoner of Azkaban. This is when Harry meets the Dementor for the first time. And I read my 22 pages of John Adams. Right now, we went over Trenton Trenton, the Battle of Trenton, where like they retreat, and then Washington decides, since Howe decided to like give them a break or whatever, that to sneak over the river and attack them. And it was like the turning point in a way, because there was like so much defeatism going on, and they just lacked the self-confidence and trust to keep going, and that kind of helped push them forward. So there's that. Then I read, I think, just 2 very short chapters of the Silmarillion, because again, we were gone almost all day. I had work, and then my dad had a doctor's appointment at the same time, and then we ended up just dealing with medicine stuff, which they were still dealing with even now, but thankfully I didn't have to go with them this time to deal with it, because I was seriously so exhausted. So just 2 little chapters of this. I just didn't have as much energy to read as much. I wanted to continue reading, but it just didn't happen for that. But at least I read, and that's all that matters. I got really, like, I was just, like, so exhausted that I just got really upset when I found out that they messed up the prescription, and when it had to, like, it had to, like, reset. I was just, like, that's just so frustrating, and I'm done. Like, I was just done, and I know that they kind of, like, misinterpreted what I was feeling, but it wasn't about anything else. It was just wanting to be home. We just, none of us have been really truly home other than Michael since Tuesday. So I just really, I'm a homebody. I like to be home more than anything else, and it gets really exhausting being away for too long, and I'm just not really wanting to deal with it. Like, especially with the way this is. Like, this is not the kind of being away from home that I want. Like, if I chose to go on a trip, that's one thing. This is not the same thing. But yeah, that's all I really read. Last night my brother and I watched The Mummy, and you will be seeing all my reviews of films in a separate video, so you can look out for that at some point. But you will see me in the next clip, which will probably be Saturday, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be reading tomorrow. So until then, ciao. Hi, hello. Today is Friday, the May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Okay, anyways, but I really didn't think I was gonna have any kind of updates for you all today. But surprise, surprise, I did read. I was able to read some before I went to my first job today, and I still have to go back to another job one more time today, and thankfully I have 2 full days of doing nothing but reading and watching whatever I want to watch, kind of a thing. So that is going to be what my weekend will be, hopefully. But I read my 22 pages of John Adams. We went into a little bit about Benjamin Franklin, as John Adams kind of hangs out with Benjamin Franklin when he goes to France the first time, and there's this supposition that maybe Benjamin Franklin was corrupt, that he was skimming, and in connection to what the other person that was and all of that, makes me wonder if it's that there is actual truth to it, and I'm not really surprised if there was. So I'm actually liking this book a lot better than I was at the beginning. I'm starting to like come to terms with what this book is actually supposed to be, and I think that them saying that this is an epic biography is misleading. I don't really consider it a full-out biography. I think it's more of the politics of the Revolutionary War and the beginning of the government, what John Adams did for all that. Then I did read my chapter of Prisoner of Azkaban. 6 chapters in on that so far, and I'm really enjoying that, of course. But the one that I'm really surprised about is that I did read a chapter of the Silmarillion. I didn't think I was actually going to get to that at all, but I did. So I read all 3 things, a little bit of each. I'm going really slow with the Silmarillion, more so than any other 2 books, which I'm really sad about. But hopefully tomorrow I will get a good amount of reading done, and alongside Sunday too. So cross my fingers and hoping that that will happen. And I will see you tomorrow with the last update of the week, and hopefully this will go out tomorrow too. So see you then.